Let's go, let's go!
Welcome to Straight Shooting with the boys. It's the boys, Diaz,
J-Lo.
J-Lo. Thought you forgot your name for a second. We got a week 5 game. I don't even know that it's week 5 because last night was exhausting.
Yeah.
It was a snooze fest.
That was
like it's weird because the Broncos have such a good defense, but their offense is so bad.
which is crazy with the amount of weapons they have on that team. You would never assume that on paper that offense would look the way that it does, but it's been consistently now. Like I chalked it up to we just both had really good defenses when we played them, and that game was as slow as it was. But seeing it now, I'm like, there's no excuse. The Colts defense isn't bad, but they're not.
That great.
Yeah, and that was ugly.
And we were on the group message. I don't know if you saw a message, but he threw that interception to Gilmore. I was like, oh, Colts win.
Yeah.
I don't even know why they were throwing the ball right there. What are you doing? Just run the ball, run it down. They got no timeouts.
No, yeah. There's no reason. Yeah.
Like 30 seconds left in the game. You win.
Yep. It's over. Yeah, it was bad game management, but it was a lot like they should have been destroying realistically like that. The way the defense played and the way that they were kind of moving the ball occasionally, like they definitely they should have won that, but it was ugly. Like they definitely shouldn't be on primetime again. I don't know how anybody would want to watch that team play anybody at this point.
Yeah. The overtime drive was like, I'm doubling down. I threw the interception in the end zone, and now I'm going to miss that dude. It was awful. Hey, give me a second. I'm going to fix my thing. Still working out the kinks.
Yep.
Getting there.
We'll get there.
But yeah, I was like, man, he missed that guy. That guy, like, he needs a whole new helmet. His helmet's gone. He destroyed it.
Yeah.
It was a good play. That was a great play. I don't know what he was looking at. That dude was wide open. It looked like that was where the play was supposed to go, too.
Yep. Yeah.
Why couldn't he play that guy when he was in Seattle?
Seriously. And why does he not play like that when he's playing against us? I mean, he still played like that in a way in this game, but like he looked like prime Russ at that last drive against us. So I'm like, why couldn't you look like this Russ? But for whatever reason, against the Niners, he's like Debo with the Rams. Like it's just like an extra switch on there.
He doesn't have the magic anymore. It doesn't look like, and I don't know if it's that he doesn't have the magic, or if the team just doesn't believe in him just yet. But I don't know what it is. That team is a mess.
Yeah, I hit up my boy Jordan. He's a Broncos fan, and I'm like, dude, at this point, you'd be better off going out there and calling plays. Like, it was a bad called game, and his response was, it doesn't matter what we call if our receivers are dropping balls, our O-line can't block, and our players keep fumbling. Which he has a point. There's definitely some room to improve there. There was a lot of passes that hit receivers in their hands, so. You can slam your helmet all you want at the end of the game that you're open and you should have been thrown to, but you get balls thrown to you and you drop them. I mean, quarterbacks start to second guess who they're throwing to at that point.
So do you think Russell Wilson's washed?
I think he's been at that point. I wouldn't say washed. He's still probably better than half the league, but I definitely don't think he's Russ. He hasn't been Russ for the last 2-3 years, realistically. A lot of people wanted to blame the O-line last year with Seattle, and, he didn't have this and he didn't have that. But I watched that game, and we're watching it now. That O line hasn't changed really much with Geno, and Geno's still at least semi productive, So for me, like it definitely wasn't the O line. It was just Russ's skill set was good when he was young, and he was able to do that kind of stuff. I think it caught up to him now at this point. Yeah. So to say wash, I would say wash in the sense of who Russ is, but I wouldn't say. I mean, he could probably still go and start on half the league's teams and be better than the starters that are there now.
True. I think so he's I wouldn't say he's washed, but there was a couple throws last night that were behind us. One of them being in the end zone, and Gilmore got the pick. That receiver beat Gilmore. You throw it in front of the receiver, that's a touchdown, and game's over. You throw it behind the receiver, Gilmore picks it off. And then there was a couple more plays where I was just like, that's not Russell Wilson. Usually Russell Wilson's on time. But he was way off. I mean, it's this whole year, his rhythm isn't there. And I don't know, maybe it's just a new stadium, new atmosphere, new coach, new everything. So maybe that's what it is. I wouldn't say he's washed though. He's still throwing the ball hard, and he's still able to evade the pass rush. So I think he's still Russell Wilson, but hopefully he gets better toward the end of the year because them fans left before the game was over last night.
Yeah, there was booze coming in before halftime. I mean, it was definitely at that point. I think that Denver Broncos fans and even us as non-fans had a certain expectation of the Broncos this year with what they had, and they're not hitting those expectations for anybody. So it's going to be a very quick swerve off the road situation if they don't try to correct it quickly, because it's looking bad. And when you go up against a team too where you got Matt Ryan who's turned over the ball, I seen a graphic like something like 20 times already this year or something. It's insane. Like
he's been awful too.
Yeah, by himself. Like he's been horrible. You got that type of quarterback and that defense that you have, and you have all these different things working for you in that game, and to still lose, like there's something wrong there.
I wasn't gonna say anything about Matt Ryan because I forgot. But do you think they might have been better off sticking with Carson Wentz? Because they got rid of Carson Wentz based off that game last year in Jacksonville. Jacksonville looks like a team this year. So maybe Carson Wentz wasn't a bad quarterback. Maybe he was a good quarterback. He got stuck with the Jacksonville team that looked bad all year but became great. So they're good.
I mean, he's not really. He's not bad this year, but he's not looking good either. So I wouldn't go as far as to say that Carson Wentz wasn't a bad quarterback, but I will go as far. I will go as far as to say they were better off with Wentz than Matt Ryan. I think if they were smart and what they initially wanted to do was go after Jimmy, and if I think they would have done that, this team would have been a competitor by far. They'd probably be undefeated or at that point. I think Jimmy's the exact opposite of what. They didn't, and thankfully for us, thankfully for us that worked out in our favor. But yeah, we'd be fucked. but that being said, yeah, I definitely think the Matt Ryan route was the way to go. I think they assumed like Drew Brees can play till he's 50, so why can't Matt Ryan? But it just didn't. It's just not translating on the field. He has his sparks, he has his moments.
Last year.
No, I know.
Was terrible last year, and I don't. The last couple of years, Matt Ryan has not been good. Like he's had a couple of games, but he's not been good.
Yeah.
Last year against the 49ers, I was at that game when he played the 49ers, and there was like a regular sack. Nick Bosa hit him. Didn't hit him hard either. He barely touched him. Like I think he put him on the ground. I don't think he hit him and knocked him to the ground. And he fumbled the ball. And I was like, he might be done. Like he just doesn't hold on to the ball. He fumbles over like pretty much every game. You know you're gonna get at least a fumble sack, like a strip sack. Mm-hmm. You're gonna get hit. He's gonna fumble the ball.
He turns the ball. He turns the ball over. I mean, he's
5 weeks in. He's already fumbled 12 times or something like that.
Yeah. It's like I said. He's had. I think it was like 18 turnovers or something just off of him between picks and fumbles. So I'm like, for one man to be accounting for that much, like Wentz all of last season had 7 total turnovers, like, and you were getting away from him to what to triple your fucking turnover rate. Like it definitely it's not looking good for them. I mean, I had high hopes in they had some weapons. They have a good run game. They have a great defense. I still think that's the case. Even though they're banged up here and there, but they're still a great defense. So,
I think the weird part to me is, they have 2 wins. They're right there in the division. I think the division leader has to. They should be 0-3 though. 0-3-1. They should not be the one game. They beat the Chiefs. Same thing. I think who made the mistake against the Chiefs? Chiefs messed something up. I can't remember. They fumbled the ball or something like that. Went back and scored.
Yeah, the Chiefs definitely they lost that game. It wasn't them getting beat. But.
And then this game, Denver literally just run the ball out. You guys win, and you give them a second chance. I mean, it's the NFL though. Crazy shit happens. They might go on an 8-game winning streak. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know. They might get shit together. They might They might pull a trade off or something and get a quarterback in there.
The O-line is good. The O-line has great players, but they're playing terrible right now. So they might get shit together. You never. It could be just a miscommunication because Matt Ryan seems like not that he's a control freak, but he's like that Tom Brady type, like controls the coverages. So maybe they get their communication to order him in the center, and boom, their offensive line's back to being good, and they're good. Who knows? Jonathan Taylor was hurt last night too, so that doesn't help him.
Hines got hurt. Hines got hurt. Scary injury. I don't know what's going on this year. I feel like they had such a they were pressing this whole concussions and CTE and all that stuff for so long. That was the thought process, and now you're seeing every week now there's a hit like that. It's like you can't. I mean, other than going a 2-hand touch, it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? It's part of the game, unfortunately. But it's crazy to see that it's happening so much more often now.
Yeah, it's happening. This is the second one where the guy couldn't walk away almost this year. I don't know, maybe there's something to the Guardian caps. Maybe their heads are not bracing for impact, so the training camp, their heads getting ready for that impact, and then now the Guardian caps are gone. There's full contact. But no, I'm sure there'll be more research done. I'm sure we'll hear some news.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Guardian caps get renewed or something further will happen, and we'll go from there. But the game is getting tougher, and there seems to be more head injuries. It's crazy. Well, I sent you a stat earlier in the week. The Niners ranked compared to 2 of the greatest defenses in all time, right? The 1985 Bears and the 2000 Ravens.
2000
Ravens, I think, averaged they allowed 4.46 yards per play, and then I think it was the Bears were in the threes. I think they were 3.9 or 4.1 or something crazy, and the Niners were right in between them, allowing 4.2 or something like that yards per play. Do you think that's sustainable, or do you think that's just the teams we played? Because Torres said it was the teams we played. He said, "Oh, you guys play terrible teams." Maybe we played against DK Metcalf, who's one of the best receivers in the league right now. And I think he had 60 yards or something. We played against Cooper Kupp, who is the best receiver in the league right now.
Yep.
He did have a day. He had 14 catches for 122 yards and no touchdowns. But he had no yak yards. He had very limited yak yards. And he had no impact in the game. He played one of the top 3 rushing teams in the league, in the Chicago Bears, in a monsoon, which should favor them, but it didn't. But we played the Broncos, who are loaded. They have all the offensive weapons. Now they can't get their shit together. Could it be that they're playing good? They played 3 good defenses. Did they play the Chargers already too?
The Broncos.
Yeah, they played Chargers.
Yeah.
So they played 4 good defenses.
Yeah.
So it could be product of the defenses why their offense is so bad. I don't know, but they have the weapons. They should be able to do more than they are. The 49ers haven't allowed. I think they allowed 2 touchdowns this year. One of them not even an offensive touchdown.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So it's maybe are they on pace to be one of the best defenses of all time?
I'm gonna go with. I mean, it's too early. Obviously, it's still early in the year, and we will have to see going down the road. We'll play Kansas City, we'll play Tampa, we'll play some really good offenses. So I think that'll be the test. That being said, like this is the NFL, so when people say like, "Oh, you face this, or you face that," like you're still facing pro athletes, NFL players, NFL caliber quarterbacks, guys who were drafted in the first round, guys that were, talking about being Hall of Famers at this point. Like you got guys who just won Super Bowls. Like we're not sure that it's two people are 2-2 right now. It's early in the year and everyone's like, oh, these are bad teams. No, they're not bad teams. That's like saying the Niners are a bad team because we're 2-2. We're not. So at the end of the day, like sure, was there different things that each team that we were facing that worked against them? Probably, but every offense in the league outside of maybe Buffalo has weaknesses. So you know what I mean? Like the whole point of being and so the whole point of being a good defense is being able to exploit those weaknesses, find out where they're vulnerable, and attacking those. So I mean, between the scheming that D'Amico's doing, he's having fun. He's bringing blitzes, like stuff that you don't typically see from him. But because we have the personnel, I think he's doing it more. And you've seen that a lot with those types of defenses, where you're able to call these different plays. And with Tamari and the Bears, they were able to do a lot of different like things. I would say the Bears more so were just kind of smack you in the mouth, but Baltimore for sure, they had Ed Reed blitzing. They had they did a lot of different things when their defense was as good as they were. So I would say, are they on pace? Definitely. Do they have the skill set? I think by far you can't argue that they have one of the best front sevens, the best front seven in the league right now. Probably the best linebacking core, like whole group across the board of all time. Because you can't, you individually, do they have a better linebacker than Ray Lewis? Probably not. Do they have a better linebacker than Urlacher? Probably not. But as a core, they're better than those linebacking cores were, and on those teams. You got the safeties. We're not even fully healthy at safety yet. So just so you just the fact that we're still missing a couple of those pieces, and we look the way that we do, the yards that we're allowing per play, the touchdowns, like we'll bend a little bit, but we're still keeping teams under. Yeah, so
yeah, I think the Bears game we gave up, I think 17 points. From 17 points, or was it 16 points? It was 17. They scored 2 touchdowns in the Bears game.
Yeah.
Both of those were miscommunication plays, and Sam Wilson, probably due to that, got benched. And then like you said, we're not fully healthy. We're gonna get Jason Brand back in the next couple of weeks. Jimmy Ward's coming back in the next couple of weeks. It's gonna be hard to put Jimmy Ward in because Gibson's like one of the top rated safeties in the league right now, but he got to go to the bench because Jimmy Ward is the guy. He's been our guy for 10 years now, or at least 7 years.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, when you had a guy that was a free agent that we signed versus a guy who's been our guy for that long, so he definitely does have to go to the bench. That being said, doesn't mean that there can't be packages and different types of things where they move Ward to corner, or they do some interesting things out there. I've seen Huff kind of moved all over the place. I've seen even Lamore coming up on the line of scrimmage, playing as almost like a defensive lineman. So yeah, so I mean, they do some personnel things that right now it's looking like we're gonna improve when those guys come back and be able to utilize all the way across the board the different players and skill sets that we have. So yeah, it definitely. That all being said, is it too early? Yes. Are we on pace to be athletically, talent wise, and play calling wise? Are we on pace to be one of those defenses? 100%. There's no way you can argue that watching the way that these guys have played.
Watching last year we had a top defense. Right? Our defense was great last year, but we couldn't cover anybody to save our lives. This year, totally different. Like these guys, Evan Mosley and Ward, locking people down. Like it's borderline. It's like boring to watch them play because it's like outside of Bosa, there's nothing really exciting happening. It's like you know, 3 and out, and we're gonna get the ball back. Like I'm not saying that like it's boring. Like as a fan, I love watching. I'm like fuck yeah, but like as a so watching football, and we just watched the Broncos and the Colts go into a snooze fest. The Niners and the Broncos had one 2 weeks ago. Like it's not a high scoring game, so people are going to get bored off this. And like, it's just this game again. And the Niners offense is exciting sometimes, but right now it ain't clicking. So when it clicks, this team will get excited. But right now it's just like, oh man, they're winning old fashioned. They're gonna beat you in the mouth. They're gonna run the ball down your throat. They're not gonna let you score. You ain't scoring touchdowns against the 49ers. I'm sorry. I told Torres, I bet him. I bet him. I don't care what he wants to bet. I don't think the Chiefs will score over 20 points on the 49ers offensively.
Mhm.
If all these pieces are healthy, with Jimmy Ward coming back, with Jason Brett coming back. But Travis Kelce's
Yeah.
not scary. Travis Kelce, we shut Travis Kelce down. It was Tyreek Hill that scored. It was Tyreek Hill that broke that game open.
Yeah.
That's ain't there no more. You don't got that no more. So it's like that team doesn't scare me. And the Bucks don't scare. Like we know this. If you have a statue back there, no matter if it's Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, no matter who.
Yeah. It don't matter who it is. If they're standing in the pocket, yeah, we're gonna eat. If they're standing in the pocket, we're eating. I don't care who it is, the quarterback. That's for sure.
Struggled with in the last few years, Lamar Jackson, Russell,
Russell,
and Kyler Murray. Those are the teams we struggle with. Outside of that, there's no like, oh, our defense has always been the same. Like they shut teams down.
The good thing is, like you said, though,
good defensive linemen coming after you. So now you got to worry about the blitz too. Like, oh, D'Amico died up the game for him. That game was. I've never seen so many blitzes for the 49ers since Vic Fangio. That game was.
They haven't. That was a way differently called play, and obviously matchups and everything matters. They had a really banged up line. It made sense to do that. There was some stuff off for them, but like I said, because you have like you touched on our DBs are so good right now. You can afford to have a linebacker come off the edge. You can afford to bring that slot or safety off the edge because that those corners are going to do their job. And even with the mobile quarterbacks and the guys that are shifty, like I've seen it still where we're able to cover those wide receivers even if those quarterbacks are doing that. So it allows us to now we're a little bit more balanced in the sense of where we can face those types of quarterbacks and still, they might get a few plays here and there. It's going to happen. It's like I said, it's the NFL. Receivers are still good. They can still do that, but we're more built to. We're more equipped to handle any type of offense at this point, whether they want to come out and run the ball, whether they want to come out, play action, pass, shotgun, whatever. We're equipped to do that, and we can adjust game calling ahead of time. I still want to see a full game called by our defensive coordinator, but outside of that, we're looking good. I would say that the Rams game was that. No, I was gonna say the Rams game was a really well called game. The entire game, all 4 quarters. I don't feel like the Rams really adjusted anything much coming out of half. Though I feel like they still try to continue to do what they were doing. So I want to see.
It was all here. They think they lost here. They don't think he don't think they lost in the skill game. He thinks they lost.
Yeah.
Based off this.
I think. I'm sure it's part of it. I think the fact when you beat a team so many times, like it does linger in the back of your head a little bit when you go out there and you face teams like that. So, and Matt Ryan,
like Stafford missed Higbee, I think, for a touchdown. Like he would have scored a touchdown. But outside of that, there wasn't very many plays that Stafford missed. Like he was getting his ass kicked all night. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Different times, so
by
himself. So it's kind of hard to do when you got the scariest person on the field in your face.
It starts to weigh on you, dude. As a QB, you start to want to look for him. You're not looking for your wide receivers anymore. You're looking for the D line. And where are they at on the field? Are they going to be in my face right now? And part of that is because, like I said, that O line he's not confident like he was last year that he could kind of do his thing and be able to do that. And outside of Cooper Kupp, none of the wide receivers are really doing anything. So it's like you got to watch the D line and watch Cooper Kupp. That's it. Like that's what his mindset is. I got to see where they're at and I got to see where he's at. And by that time, like we're covering Kupp or we keep Kupp from blowing plays up. Like you're not going to do too much. So
And even last year, Cup didn't like do anything crazy. Like he had the same game every game.
Yeah.
He's always had the same game against us. We don't let him do what Debo did to them. We don't let those 60-yard touchdowns come through.
no,
Speaking of Debo and 60-yard touchdowns against the Rams, did you see him and Jalen Ramsey had a little back and forth on Twitter?
I did. I seen his little video he posted.
Also, somebody changed Debo's wiki. Not wiki. Yeah, his wiki. They changed it to father of Jalen Ramsey. That's hilarious. He did not want no part of Debo. He was like, yo, just go ahead and spread it.
No, and you always know, like, when somebody's got in your head when they start to like reflect on, like, oh, I'm doing better in life, or I'm doing better here. Like, dude, we're talking about football now. Now you want to go like a whole different route. Like, you can't use football as your baseline. Then you clearly are getting worked in the football sense. So, I mean, it was funny. I liked seeing the video where they showed McGlinchey after that play running up to him, and
he's over there.
yeah, like he's in the end zone, So I love that energy. Yeah.
McGlinchey walked away. If McGlinchey had been Draymond Green, he'd have smacked him. But
yeah, for sure. So. Yeah, so I mean, it was one of those things where, like, you start to see that energy, and I'm still not a fan of McGlinchey, and I will say that till the end of the season. Say that to the end of the season, but I will salute him on that play just because it once we start to get that swagger, and like I noticed the Niners are always like that, like the 2012 and now and the 2019 run, and even last year, like once we started to hit that stride and people were having fun and they were kind of just enjoying football, like it started to click, and it just started smoothly, just it just went. So I like to see that.
The Niners are always a slow starting team. The Patriots slow start every year. They were 0-2, 1-3 all the time with Tom Brady. At the end of the season, 12-4, 13-3 with a first round bye and the Super Bowl. Like,
yeah, no kidding.
Teams don't start out hot. You learn, they build. Like everybody's speaking like, oh, Kyle Shanahan can't draw up an offense anymore. No, Kyle Shanahan's always built up his offense. He's always the person that says, I might have a play in the first quarter that gets 1 or 2 yards, but I got to play in the third and fourth quarter based off that play that's going to get me a touchdown. He's always done that. He's always long-term thinking. Like
he's thinking in the game.
He's going to have a play off those plays, and it's going to be boom, touchdown. Now I did like this week. We put Ayuk in the Debo role. Like that was a good little wrinkle because you don't expect Debo to get these screens all the time or the end runs. Ayuk is just as good at running the ball. He's not as powerful. He's not going to smack the people in the mouth and make them fear him. But he's going to get 8-10 yards on the end around and break it once in a while.
Yeah, and the difference I think with him, which kind of adds to that, is if we get the blocking and where Debo's untouched, how he's been in the past. If Ayuk gets that play last week, before the Rams game, the week before that play where Debo got gassed out, like Ayuk's not getting gassed out on that play. Ayuk's scoring a touchdown. So, I mean, they both have their skill sets that play to them. I would have liked that. I loved seeing that. I would have liked them to see it more towards the end of the game. They started to they did it for like a quarter, and then it just kind of stopped, which was weird to me because I'm like,
I felt like the first half was Ayuk, and then the second half,
and then they shifted to Debo.
I think Debo probably wouldn't have got that touchdown had they not have went to Ayuk in the first half. Because when you go to Debo, the same way they went Cooper Kupp, they went Cooper every quarter, right? The fourth quarter, Hufanga was just like, I'll take that.
He's going to Cooper. Yeah.
But for us,
it was fine.
And their defense was probably like, whoa, what the fuck? That was a Debo play, but they did it to Ayuk. Hold on a second. What the hell? We got to take a step. And now they're second guessing it just for a split second. And Debo get, because I was only over his finger by like an inch. Could have been I don't think it would have been a pig. If anything, it would have been a batted down pass. But
So if you noticed on that play, if you notice on that play, Ramsey wasn't on him. Ramsey was on Ayuk. So you started to initially see Ramsey over Debo, and Ayuk was getting the plays, and then like you said, they play it wasn't Ramsey. And Ramsey might have made that play. Ramsey for sure would have at least knocked the ball away. He's longer. He's a little bit more physical. Like he could have knocked that ball away. So I think the fact that we did do that, we kind of set that up to where Ramsey started to lean a little bit more towards Ayuk, and then boom, we catch Debo, and he's just like, shit. Like I get his frustration, like I can't be everywhere on this team, but at the end of the day, like that's where you have to count on the other guys to be able to do that and be those guys. And I feel like Ramsey's always had that mentality where if it's not him, it's not done right. But it's one of those things, man. You that's what you game plan for. That's what you scheme for. You start to notice what defenses do, and you see, past games. Do they lean Ramsey towards the guy who's getting the ball more? Do they lean him towards the best guy on the field? Where do they put him? And clearly, they've seen something with that. The way that he targets, the way they target receivers, and they utilize it. So
Ayuk is the better route runner.
100%.
But we don't have the quarterback that can get Ayuk the ball.
Yeah, we don't have a quarterback that can hold the ball long enough for Ayuk to develop the routes. His route take
Jimmy
a
did
little
make a
longer.
couple nice. He didn't get. It was a couple plays where he should have got sacked.
Yeah,
Aaron Donald was straight to him, and somehow he got that away. There was another play where he scrambled a little bit, then threw it away. If he plays like that, this team could win a Super Bowl. That you can't have the Jimmy who freaks out and throws an interception. Can't have the Jimmy who falls over his own feet. You need the Jimmy that can get rid of the ball when he's ready to throw it away, and the Jimmy who can just make the play on time.
Yeah.
The guy he's not targeting right now, Kittle. What's going on with Kittle? Is Kittle still hurt?
No. So I paid attention strongly to Kittle in this game. I wanted to see. Because that's what I thought last week. You know what I mean? He's still coming back from the injury. Maybe he came back a little too soon. Are we pushing him a little hard? What I noticed is Kittle and even Juice, they're being utilized as blockers way more often. I mean, if you look at the play, like you look at the snap count on the plays that we were running, 9 times out of 10. Like I'm not even kidding. I think I had it written down too, and I completely forgot it. But the statistic, Kittle blocked probably 60 or 70% of the time he was on the field. Like it wasn't him running routes, and if he did run routes, they were routes off of blocks. Like he blocked, the delayed routes and that kind of stuff. Like it wasn't routes, and because Jimmy's not really one of those guys, like I said, that you there? All right.
Yeah, I'm here.
For sure. Yeah, because Jimmy's not one of those guys that lets routes develop very fast. Like he's a 1-2 throw the ball kind of guy usually. Kittle just isn't gonna be. So I'm gonna say that right now. I can tell you, Kittle's probably not gonna be in the top 5, even top 10 in passing or receiving yards this year. I don't even see him being really up there at all. People are gonna start questioning that. Where's Kittle? Why is Kittle not? But I think we know our line, we see our weakness, and we know Kittle and what he's about. So I think him and Juice,
he's
a
one
blocker.
of the few tight ends that can be a great receiver or a great blocker if you need to. He can block a D end. Not every play. You can't put him against Bosa and think he's going to beat Bosa every play.
No, not one-on-one.
Plays where you can put him against the D end that they could pick what D end he goes against. And he could block a D end. Also, he's most of the time he's just double teaming with Moore
with the tackle. Yeah, it's just the support. I think he's going to be that supportive, that extra body. Even if he's lined up at that wing, if they do, because what we tend to get beat at is off the edge. Guys kind of move. Our tackles just aren't equipped to handle that. So I think by putting him offsetting Juice off to the left or to the right, depending on what the strength the call is, it allows them to create a more cleaner pocket. We still have to our 3 interior guys have to hold down their blocks, and that's I think what we're counting on right now, and they have been at least in this game. the times Donald got pressure, it was off the tackles. It wasn't off the guards of the center. So I think it's
one
going
time in the center was a miscommunication.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's at the end of the day they know they need more linemen, and we don't really have linemen, and we would rather have Kittle out there at that point, because if we do want to adjust, if we do see something in the defense and Jimmy wants to call a play, try to adjust and have him run a route, we could do that. So I think he, like you said, he's not a typical tight end that you see where they're either a receiver that can block or they're a lineman that can catch. He's right there in the middle. So it allows us to utilize him however we need him. And at this point, we have enough weapons on the field that we don't need him as that guy. Yeah. We don't need him as a check down. We don't need him as that, that.
And these two, Juice and Kittle, even if they're blocking, the linebackers can't fall off of them.
No, they have to.
They could be a screen. That's a screenplay right there that will get 15 yards. But those two can run with the ball. They both catch really good. And Kittle in the open field is just as scary as Deebo is. In fact, he's probably more scary because he's bigger. And I remember a couple years ago when he was healthy, DBs were running from him. They did not want no part of that guy. I agree with you. I think once Williams comes back, which he said he'll be back soon. He told Matt Maiocco, he's like, I ain't gonna be out that long. Don't worry. So
yeah, he was walking. He was walking in his boots. So
yeah, when he comes back, Kittle, I feel like we'll get more involved in the offense, in the passing game. Until then, we're gonna do what we can to win games with the scheme. And there's no one better than that than Kyle. Yeah, it was crazy though. I looked at the thing. We're first in the division. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. Well, I knew that only because our 2 wins are only in our division. so it was
that's true, I guess.
I was like,
we're also we're the only team in the division with a net positive points rating.
Yeah,
so, like positive 40 something.
Yeah.
Our defense is number 1 across the board, points and
across
yards.
the board. Yeah, all the way down. I mean, it was like the graphic. I think there was only a couple little things that we were in second, but outside of that, it was first all the way down. So
yeah, first in everything. Bosa's first in everything. Pressures, sacks. He's first. He's
DPOY.
Now he's getting recognition for DPOY. He's getting it. Yeah. He looks like if he stays on pace, he's got a sack every game for the last 12 games. If he keeps the pace that he's currently on, he might break the record this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see it, and you could see it with the way he plays and the way that his facial expressions. He just has a different motivation on him.
When he misses a sack, you could see it.
He's frustrated.
He gets like,
he's like,
I should have had that.
Yeah,
but there was one play that they were all they were swarming. They were swarming Matt Stafford. They were all over the place. It looked like if you were to walk in front of a swarm of gnats, it was just like you're like, fuck. That's what Matt looks like. And he fell to the ground, and the defensive lineman, him, Nick Bosa, and I think it was Ebukam. They literally were crawling so they could touch him.
To touch him.
And they were crawling. They were trying to get to him. I want that sack. It was crazy. I was like, yo, they're on fire right now. And I think that's because there's a lot of good defensive linemen, so they all want to get their numbers, so they know their plays are limited. Nick Bosa's plays are obviously not limited, but when Kerry Hyder gets in, he knows he's only going to get a set amount of plays. And then when you got Ridgeway getting in, it's like, I'm going to get these many more plays. They're trying to make every little one of them count, so they got to get every little sack they can get or tackle for loss that they can get. And it looks like they're just it's a competitiveness, but it looks like a healthy competitiveness. When I'm in there, I got to get what I can get. I got to eat, but then the next guy's going to go in and eat too. It doesn't look like anybody has any animosity or anything like that. They're just
not at all. It's
they're having a lot of fun.
They're frustrated in the moment they miss it, and then they get up and they're in each other's smacking each other's helmets. Let's go! You know what I mean? It's very much it's like you said, a healthy competitive. Maybe they have something behind the scenes that we don't know about, and they're pushing each other to get there and do that. So I mean, it definitely looks like Bosa has. I know he has the accolade in his mind just because they've shortchanged him his whole career in the NFL. I know he has that probably in him. Yeah, there's always something, and I think they just I don't know whatever it is that maybe he's not flashy enough. Like when he talks, and he's very like nonchalant. I just played a good game, like
like Winnie the Pooh. He has like that Winnie the Pooh type mentality. Like, well,
he's not the character. You know what I mean? He's not the guy that you'll see doing a lot of stuff or saying a lot of stuff, but. Maybe that's why he's just not that rah kind of guy. But you watch him in the game, like they're playing off of that dude's energy. The way he plays and the way he pushes. They're watching him. They're watching Warner, and even right now, Hufanga. Like they're playing off of those three guys at all three levels, and you can see the whole. It's contagious. You see, like you said, you see the other defensive linemen getting excited about it. You see linebackers. They had Debo mic'd up, and he's out there every time the defense is on the field. You hear him get it. Get after it.
Yeah. So like you just mentioned, three levels, great players. So that's kind of like what the Rams thought they had, or think they do have. They have good players.
They have it. Yeah.
Wagner, Donald, and Ramsey. Ramsey and Donald being like two of the highest paid at their position. And then they got, on the other end, they got Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, who are the highest at their position. The 49ers, I think they have been smarter in the way that they're doing business. Because Fred Warner, one of the highest in his position, but the way they structure his contract is less impactful as Jalen Ramsey's on theirs. Same thing for, we have Debo Samuel. Like his contract is huge, but it's not that big of an impact. It seems like they always leave a little, like, this chunk right here, that's going to this person this year and then next year.
Yeah.
Like Eric Armstead is one of the highest paid at his position, but no one even realizes it. Like, he never gets mentioned. Like, their salary cap issues are all because of Eric Armstead or because of Fred Warner. We have like 6 of the highest paid players in the league. It's like, never hear anything. Like, we did hear, they could get rid of Jimmy G and save $25 million. There was that.
Yeah,
but we didn't do it. We got the players. We got Tre'Davious Ward. Everybody was like, they didn't get the player they wanted because they didn't have enough.
They didn't have the salary cap. No, we got the guy we wanted, and it's showing. It's showing on the field. So we definitely got the guy we needed on that team. Yeah.
And then we signed Odom and number three.
Ray.
Yeah, and it's like, they just got these, bargain bin players. Like, no, they're special team players, and they're 2 of the highest paid special team players in the league. Like, and our special teams is good now. So last year we sucked. We had our bad team with special teams. We improved that a lot. Our offense is not as good as our defense, but it doesn't need to be as good as our defense. It just needs to be connected to our defense. It just needs to do what it needs to do to allow our defense to be the greatest defense of all time. I think the front office is smart with the way they do things. They always bring in a player off of the waiver wires or the bargain buckets. And we got Gibson this year, and he's one of the best in the league at the safety position. And prior years, we had Kerry Hyder one year. Dude had like 9 sacks. He went and got paid the next year. Last year, we had D tackle. I can't remember his name right now. He went and got paid. I just think the front office of the 49ers is much smarter than the front office of the Los Angeles Rams. Yeah, they won the Super Bowl last year. It's because Jimmy G's shoulder was literally hanging out by a thread. I don't think they would have won the Super Bowl last year had that not happened in the case. I think we would have beat them just like we do every other game. I don't think we do have 3 of the best at their position in the defense. Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, and Hufanga seems to be the new guy. But I don't think our front office is as bad. It's going to be as dumb as the Los Angeles Rams because they have no money to spend anywhere else. And if one of those players gets hurt, that whole side of the ball is gone.
Yep.
All right, I'm off my soapbox now.
No, but I agree. I think somebody somewhere is talking to a 2000 Ravens like owner or something and like, hey, what did you do? How did you do this? Because that to me is what that game and that team reminded me of. That you had. I'm gonna go on record right now. If we get the Alex Smith version of Jimmy G, we win a Super Bowl this year. Because everybody wanted to complain, and I was one of those guys that complained about Alex Smith being a game manager and you know that's all he did. That's all he could do. But we didn't have. Yeah, but that being said, if Alex Smith was on this team with this defense, like that defense was good, but that defense wasn't this defense. I don't care what anybody says. We had some good, some good hitting. We had some great, obviously two of the great linebackers of all time. We had Justin Smith. We had Alden Smith. We had all these individual players, but just it just didn't. I feel like when it was clicking, it was great, and when it wasn't, and it started to show a little bit at times where I think this defense just across the board, every position out there could be the best at that position if they really wanted to be. So, and the depth and like the guys that get in after the fact, the being able to interchange. There was one point on the defense during the game last week that I looked at the D line and I was like, wait, who are all these guys? Usually I can kind of pinpoint, like, I can pinpoint Armstead, I can pinpoint Bosa, I can pinpoint. I was like, wait, this is all different play. Like, who are they? And like, I had to like really look at the numbers and figure out who each individual player was, and it looked the same. It didn't look any different. Jackson, I think that's when Jackson got the sack. So I mean, there
was a couple series against Denver where Bosa wasn't on the field except for third down, like 3 straight series, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah.
But they didn't lose any production. Like,
no,
granted, Bosa's on the field, so you're losing something, but still it was 3 and outs over and over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. Still doing it. Yeah, it's so. I mean, that all being said, if we can get the Jimmy of last night, the Alex Smith version of Jimmy, doesn't turn the ball over, doesn't do anything crazy, but allows our defense to be our defense. We keep having the special teams, click like they have been. They haven't really allowed much, and they've been pretty on point all season so far. Yeah, for me, it's a Super Bowl, and it's not even like that far off. At the very least, we win the NFC, and that's easy. then the only thing we would have to worry about at that point is Buffalo, only because I feel like Buffalo on both sides of the ball are clicking pretty well right now, defensively and offensively. So that definitely will be a challenge if we get to that point. Miami, Tua healthy and
McDaniel doing what Buffalo's good at. I think that plays right into
we stopped that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fred Warner could cover a tight end. They have a good receiver. Our DBs are fucking intense. And then
crazy.
You got Josh Allen who could run, but our D line looks like they're just eating anything that will stand in their way.
Oh yeah.
Might be Thanksgiving dinner. Might be Christmas dinner for them. I don't know. That's gonna be a good game. I don't know. Hopefully we get there. Hopefully we get there so we can see
Hopefully we get there. That's my biggest thing. If we have the team that showed up yesterday, and again they could say everything they want about the Rams not being healthy, and we played not the shell of the Rams from last season, whatever they want to say. At the end of the day, that the numbers that Jimmy had, although pedestrian in most cases, of elite quarterbacks, it's more than enough for us to win. When you see the Jimmy that throws for 130, 150 yards and a touchdown and an interception, we can't have that. We can't have that Jimmy, because those interceptions typically come in times where we need to drive the ball. He's taking unnecessary risks, making unnecessary throws. I'd love to see them throw the ball down the field and give him an opportunity to do that, but not when our defense is playing the way that it's playing, and not when our run game and everything else is clicking the way it's clicking. Like, let him do it. Let him do it.
He missed a drive in the third quarter where he had like a wide open. Was it Dwelly or Warner? I don't know which one. Touchdown. Missed that. And there was another play right after that. I think it might have been Ayuk. Missed that. It was just like, God dang it! Like, he still had 2 plays where he very easy. Like, they're not easy, obviously, because he has like NFL players trying to take his head off. However, they were the easier plays that he would have to make. He missed those, and we still won by
comfortable amount. Even if you take away the pick 6, like we still won that game. We were up by 8, and our defense was playing the way that it was playing.
Touchdown, we went by 2 touchdowns, and then if Robbie Gould doesn't miss a 40-yarder, the pick 6 doesn't even matter. It's just like everybody was like, oh, this team should have did this. This team should have Kyle's this, Kyle's that. It's like this game wasn't even that close. Like, yeah, they ran more plays than us, but we had more explosive plays. Like, of course they ran more plays. Like Debo took one play for 60 yards.
Yeah. He had multiple plays for over 30 plus yards. Like he had a few plays like that. So yeah, so
and our defense was still only allowing like 4.1 yards per play.
Yeah, per play.
It was crazy. It was like this team. It was a dominating game on Monday Night Football, and it was intense. It was like still there was so much scrutiny after this game. Like there should have been. It was a dominating effort, and people still hate it. But it is what it is. They're always gonna hate.
Well, at the end of the day, I noticed NFL fans like to see high-scoring games. They like to see offense. They like to see offense. But me personally, I've always been a fan of defensive, hard-hitting football games. Yeah, are they exciting to watch? Probably not. But they're football. That's what football is. That's at the end of the day, like that's what you have. And when you have two teams that are able to do that, that just means that it was a good game. Like when you have like Monday night with Russ and Ryan and the turnovers, that kind of stuff, yeah, you definitely don't want to see that. That's an ugly game to watch. Nobody wants to see that. But when you have teams that are just playing hard-nosed football and the turnovers that are happening are from the defensive making great plays, not the offense just being dumb. It's different. It's just a different environment. Like people they see scores and they're like, oh, that was a boring game. No, it wasn't a boring game. It was an exciting game. If you watch, you had the fans going crazy. You had the field going crazy. You had the players playing. Like it wasn't. Nobody was bored at that game. but
it just was a low scoring game. It was a weird score, 11-10 or something like that. It was tense, but yeah, it wasn't the same game as Denver Colts. Denver Colts, the quarterbacks made dumb decisions. 49ers, Broncos, the defenses were just all over the place.
Yeah. Two of the best defenses in the league, for sure. I'd say.
For sure. All right, so we already picked the Colts, Broncos. I think you were the only person to pick the Colts. No. Was it you or Whitfield?
Yeah, it was me.
I don't know. Somebody picked the Colts. I don't remember who it was. I picked the Broncos.
Yeah, I picked the Colts.
And then after like after the fourth quarter when he threw the interception, I was hoping the Broncos would lose. They deserved it. Oh man! But anyway, we got Chicago against the Vikings in London. It's in London.
I'm gonna go.
This one's in London. No, sorry. This one's not in London. This one's not in London.
No,
this one's in Minnesota. My bad.
Yeah. I got Minnesota 100%. I think Jefferson's gonna have a great game, and it's probably gonna be a blowout. To be honest, I could see Fields either getting benched in this game or not looking good in this game at all.
Not good. I think the Minnesota Vikings will win. I do think that the Chicago Bears will keep it closer though, just because they're such a good running team, and the weather's going to be solid. Yeah, I think the Vikings are going to smash. Or they're going to win. No, I don't think they'll smash. The Lions versus the Patriots in New England. Quarterback is hurt. Not playing. Well, not supposed to play. He may, but he's not supposed to play. They're going with the backup.
It's going to be Lions. For me, anyways, that's my pick. Amon-Ra coming back, hopefully. That'll be huge for them. But even then, they scored 45 points for last week. So,
something like that.
They have weapons. They have a defense sometimes. and New England just hasn't. To me, New England hasn't been impressive at all this year, even with Mac Jones out there. So I'm gonna have to go Lions.
Yeah, I'm going Lions too. Their offense looks explosive. Defense can't stop anybody, but New England, unless they might run it 48 times or 60 times like they did last year against Buffalo, but was it last year or the year before? It was a snowstorm.
Yeah.
I don't think though. I think the Lions are gonna win though. I think that offense is too good. I think. I'm going Lions. I think the Patriots are not doing well this year. Eagles versus the Cardinals. Eagles being the only undefeated team in the NFL. On a late afternoon game, not prime time.
It's in Arizona, right?
Yeah, it's in Arizona.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna go out there and say it. Is D-Hop's not back yet, right? He doesn't come back till week 6.
Nah, he doesn't come back till week 6. Week 7. Week 6 is when his suspension ends.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm gonna go backwards. Actually, I'm gonna go Eagles in this game. I think they're gonna hold on to this undefeated thing for a little bit, but it's gonna happen. The Eagles are good. Don't get me wrong; they're actually one of the best in the NFC. But it's gonna happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're just not. They're playing.
They're gonna have a game where it's like they come in feeling themselves a little too hard and get surprised.
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna be against the Cardinals.
Yeah, me neither. I was kind of only because Kyler is Kyler. He's able to do a little bit of things, but yeah, I'm gonna go Eagles on this.
Yeah, I'm going Eagles as well. Kyler's not having that great of a year this year. Maybe it's because D-Hop's not there. So when he comes back, maybe he's back. But he lost Kirk as well. Kirk was the highest paid receiver for a minute there. So.
That's true.
Got New York Giants against the Green Bay Packers. This one's in London. Aaron Rodgers in London against Saquon Barkley and the boys.
Who you got?
I'm going Green Bay. I think Saquon Barkley is having a year. Outside of that, Sterling Shepard just got hurt, torn ACL. The Green Bay defense is good. It's not the normal Green Bay defense. They got a good defense this year. I'm going Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Green Bay too.
Odell Beckham Jr. That'll be a scary team too.
Yeah, they're right now though. I feel like it always takes them a couple of games. They're also a slow starting team, but they're starting to catch that Green Bay, that normal Green Bay fire that they always catch every season, and they go on that string of 7-8 wins and 1 loss or something. Like, I think they're at that point right now. I think they're the Aaron Rodgers is looking good. The run game is looking good. That defense is looking good. They're kind of clicking on all cylinders right now, and they're at that point where that's going to be the consistent. I don't think I'll pick against them very often, but yeah, I think it's Green Bay.
Yeah, that's a good call. I think Houston. The only thing that could throw everything off is because Green Bay is a little older. That's a long ass flight to London.
Yeah, that's true.
Houston at the Jaguars. I'm gonna go Jaguars. They surprised the hell out of me this year. They look good this year. They looked good last week against Philadelphia in the first half. Second half gave up a big lead, but they look good. They're young, but their defense looks great. Their offense looks like it could do enough. Texans look like the Texans, and yeah, it's in Jacksonville. So I'm going Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you too. Jacksonville, in my opinion, is they're looking like one of the better teams in the AFC. So I think it's gonna be a pretty good, substantial win. I think Houston has a chance only because their run game has been pretty good this year. So I think they'll at least keep it kind of exciting for a little bit. Kind of back and forth for a minute, but I think Jacksonville's gonna eventually pull away, and they'll probably win by a couple touchdowns.
I agree, and I think the defense might get a touchdown in this game. Tennessee against the Commandos.
Tennessee,
Washington. So there might be some poop in the stands. Who
knows? I'm gonna go Tennessee on this game. Washington, I thought at the beginning of the season had every potential to be at least a solid team. I still never thought they were going to be good. I'm not a fan of Wentz, but their defense is good, and they had running backs. They had all this stuff, so I thought for sure. But Tennessee is starting to look like they're starting to get their feet under them a little bit. Henry's kind of doing his thing again, and I just don't see Washington being able to handle the physicality of Tennessee and their offense.
Yeah, Henry's back. He looked good 2 weeks in a row. Explosive, powerful. That's what they need. Tennessee gets that out of him every week. They're gonna win 10 games. Commanders, their defense was supposed to be what held them. It's not. And Winston and Scary Terry just ain't connecting like I thought they should or would. I'm going Tennessee, coming into Washington and leaving town with the W. Dallas against the LA Chargers. I'm going Dallas. I feel like what's going to happen. I feel like Matt Stafford may not. He might need to take a week off. He should take this week off. Yeah, after last week getting his ass beat on Monday night, he's going against Michael Parsons and Lawrence. They're gonna do the exact same thing because they lead the league in sacks. Before that was second, so they can get just as much pressure on him as we did, and they got good DBs too. Yeah, I'm gonna go Dallas. I'm going Dallas.
I'm gonna say the same. I think it's gonna be a similar, like you said, a similar outcome as our game with them. I think it'll be Dallas won't put up crazy points, but I think they'll put up enough, and that defense is gonna eat all game. If anything, Stafford's either gonna end up sitting for a minute, or he's just gonna struggle. That going 2 weeks against pass rushes like that, I wouldn't want to do it. So
that's unfair of the NFL to do that to him. Yeah. I think he plays the 49ers in like 2 or 3 more weeks. Got a rough month coming up.
Yeah, Dallas for sure.
Seattle versus New Orleans. New Orleans is not really good offensively or defensively. Seattle surprised me. Geno Smith has surprised me. They haven't looked great, but they definitely look competitive. Their defense looks competitive. So I'm going Seattle to get the W in New Orleans.
I'm gonna go New Orleans. Kamara, I think I heard he's back, right? Or, like
they
healthy.
Latavius Murray, or they got rid of him. He's on he's on the Colts or the Broncos or something.
Yeah, I think he
must be back healthy. They probably wouldn't have got rid of him if he wasn't healthy. So.
Yeah, I heard he's looking like himself again. So I think with that, I think they'll be able to at least get something going. Seattle's defense still, to me, to allow 45 points. I know Detroit's offense is looking good, but to allow that many points from Detroit, like Goff is probably equally as good to Winston, and I still don't think without Amon-Ra does Detroit have anywhere close to the weapons that New Orleans has. So I think it's going to be a New Orleans squeak by, but I think they're going to beat them.
Okay. So we got the South Florida 49ers versus the upstate New York 49ers. We got Mike McDaniels and Saleh. Without Tua, though.
Without Tua.
I don't know.
I'm going to go Jets.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm leaning for the Jets. I'm leaning for the Jets because there's a lot of negativity toward Mike McDaniel right now. I don't know how he's going to react to that.
Yeah, but I think he has. He's young. He has a lot on his plate, and for me, Wilson being on that team just kind of opens up things a little bit more for them. Mm-hmm. He's like the best, but that's expected. But the run game, their DBs. I think with the way that they play defense, I think basically Teddy. I think is gonna. I think he's gonna take some unnecessary throws, and I think the Jets corners are gonna actually be able to make him pay for that. So I think the Jets are gonna come out of this one on top. I don't know, but your boy's gonna be excited about that one, but
Torres.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Oh man, this is a tough because Miami's looks so good. I'm going Miami because their defenses look good. Teddy is gonna look good. Yeah, I'm going Miami. Sorry, Torres. All right, we got the LA Chargers versus the Cleveland Browns. In Cleveland, I'm going the Chargers. Myles Garrett's not 100% healthy. I don't know who's playing. The offense looks like they're back.
Yeah.
And Cleveland took a rough loss last week in Atlanta.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, no, I'm not on the Cleveland train at all at this point. Yeah, they do have a good defense. Myles Garrett's looking awesome, but yeah, Herbert's finally he's coming 2 weeks now off that injury. He looked good last week, and he's going to be even better health wise this week. I think Allen's still out, so that kind of sucks for them, but they really don't need that many weapons on that field to be able to beat a Cleveland defense like that. So I think the Chargers are they're gonna go into Cleveland and they're gonna walk out with a substantial win.
We got the Cincinnati Bengals, the Baltimore Ravens. This is probably it's probably too early to be for the division, but this will be a division battle because these two are top 2 teams in the division.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Bengals. I have no reason behind it. Just gonna pick Bengals because both teams are good, and the Bengals haven't looked great so far. Outside of Lamar, Baltimore hasn't looked great. You go Bengals.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually going to agree with you. I think just from a talent standpoint on offense, other than Lamar, I don't think they really have much weapons. I mean, they have their tight end, but he just really hasn't been much this season. So I think Bengals just on a pure. They got Higgins, they got Chase, they got everybody clicking on offense right now, and Joe's Joe. So I think the Bengals will come in there and win. I think it'll be a good game, but I think the Bengals pull that one out.
It's got the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Buffalo Bills. Kenny Pickett's first game starting. They got a 14-point spread. I'm going Buffalo. Von Miller tried to hype him up today or yesterday on the Bondcast. I just don't think it's going to do enough. I just think that Buffalo's going to blow them out. I don't think they have enough talent to keep up with Buffalo.
I 100% agree. I think it's Buffalo by a bigger margin, I think, than 14. But I think Buffalo's they're gonna go out there and they're gonna make Pickett struggle early. I think that defense, like I said, is look good. That pass rush is look good, and they're gonna get in his face pretty quickly and cause some turnovers. And Allen's gonna do his thing. I think it's gonna be Buffalo by a landslide.
Yeah. All right, Atlanta versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. Tom Brady coming off of was it the GOAT loss last week? Huh? Was it the GOAT Bowl last week?
Mm-hmm.
I just think Tom Brady is too good. Not Tom Brady, but the team is too good. With too many weapons. I don't think and Patterson's on IR, so Bucks for sure.
Yeah. No, I don't think I would have, even with Patterson. They could have had all their weapons in Atlanta. I don't think. I think that was a great game with Green Bay, but I think Green Bay is as good as they are. So I think, I think Tampa's they're gonna pull that one out.
We got the 49ers versus the Carolina Panthers. Baker Mayfield versus Nick Bosa.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Bosa's going to have 3 sacks. He's too small. Niners by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I agree.
Touchdown favorite in North Carolina.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be. This is going to be another one of those games similar to. And Baker's obviously a little bit more experienced than Kenny, but I think Baker's going to get hit and frustrated early. I think he's going to struggle early. He's going to force some turnovers, whether it be fumbles or interceptions, and I think the Niners are going to. It's going to be another eye-opening game, I think, for them. Defensively, offensively, I still think we need to do our thing, but Carolina's not. To me, they're not very scary on defense. So I think the Niners will win. By probably a couple touchdowns. It'll probably be like a 7-20 or 27-21 type of situation. We won't score a lot, but we won't allow them to score very much either. If even 7, I think maybe even 9 because of field goals.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. The Oakland Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh yeah,
Kansas City Chiefs. Monday Night Football. This should be an offensive game. Should be high scoring. I think the Chiefs are going to win.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it'll be a high scoring game.
They always have a surprising win against the Chiefs, though.
Kansas City. Yeah, they do.
They always going to win.
That's kind of where I was thinking at this, kind of, but it's in Kansas City. The Kansas City are on a high right now. I think between that and the lights and the environment, I think they'll continue that high. I think they'll end up in Vegas. Or have they played them already? They haven't played them yet. This is the first time, right?
They haven't played yet. They played the Chargers and the Broncos.
That's right.
So I think beat the Broncos.
I think when they go into Vegas, I think Raiders might pull that one out by then. But if they stay healthy and everything else, I think right now, just with it being what it is, I think Kansas City goes out in prime time and Mahomes does his thing.
Yeah, I think
you'll get a touchdown dance from Juju.
Yeah, the defense hasn't been as good as I thought it would be for Las Vegas. Then again, the defense hasn't been as good in the AFC West outside of the Broncos as I thought they would be. I thought the defenses would be a lot better. Chandler Jones, I don't think has a sack or maybe one sack this year.
Yeah.
So that whole division is kind of like
I think on both sides of the ball.
The Eagles dubbed themselves the Dream Team.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a lot like that.
Yeah. And there was the Dream Conference, and then the conference looks horrible.
It does. Outside, the whole AFC looks good. The AFC West is not great. Actually, the division that looks really good is the AFC East, outside of the Patriots.
Yeah.
Which is also really weird.
That is weird.
But that's the picks. That's the show. That's everything.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Outside of that, please support us by sharing. Also subscribe.
Share the videos.
And if you have an issue with anything we said, please comment. Let us know. We would love to talk to you about it.
And jump on in, man. Call in. We can get you guys on here. We can talk. Anything. Let's bounce some people off. And we'd love to have some dialogue going on for sure.
We're fans of football, talking about football. Want to talk to other fans about football. So please join us.
Yep.
Let me take that off.
All right.
All right, y'all. Let's straight shoot with the boys. We'll see y'all next week.
We're out.
Let's go, let's go!